Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I have a review on the new Burito bottom dollar bail enforcement van. Now to start off, to get this van you actually have to buy a bail office, and the nice thing is this van is at least provided with the office, so you don't actually need to buy the van itself. You just need to pay for the office. To get armor plating onto the van, it's an extra $125,000 on top of whatever you're going to be using to pay for the business. But that's one good thing, at least the vehicle was provided with the business. But now let's talk about speed on this vehicle. How does this vehicle do when it comes to speed? Okay, so starting off here with the speed test, I want to thank its Pat Place 25 and Ken Block 430 for helping out with this speed test. So I decided to test this Burrito van against two other business vehicles. I decided to test it against the Terabyte and the Acid Lab, and while they did manage to get a little bit of a head start on me, I was able to easily overtake them and pass them pretty quickly. So I actually am really impressed with the speed on this van. It's a shame that we actually can't use this van for other things like CEO crates, or maybe have like a different version of this van but for CEO crates, because this would just make doing crates is so much easier if we could use a van like this. The speed on it and the armor alone just helps it out tremendously, but we'll get to the armor a little bit later. But anyways, let's do a second speed test. In the second speed test, what I'm doing right here is I'm going to let them get a complete head start on me. So let them both take off here. Now I'm going to go, and let's see if I can catch up to them before they get to the end of the runway. Already starting to gain ground on the Terabyte. Going to pass a Terabyte pretty quickly. There we are. Terabyte is passing right now. And we might also pass the Acid Lab at this moment too. It's going to be really close. Yeah, so Acid Lab managed to beat me to the end of the runway there, but I was eventually going to pass the Acid Lab. And this is the third speed test that we're going to be doing. This third speed test, I'm speeding up this clip by 4 times because we're, doing like a 6.5 mile drive. So I don't want to make you guys watch that entire thing. But basically, I gave them both a head start, and we are going from the city all the way to Burito Bay. We're just taking the highway straight there, and I managed to actually pass them. Managed to pass them within like a mile. Within a mile of the route. Already got a huge start on them, got a huge ahead of them. Going here, driving through here, and also the thing about this is this vehicle might be a lot faster than the Terabyte and the Acid Lab. However, though, this vehicle actually gets hooked onto vehicles really easily, which I'll talk about in a moment here. But let's just get to Burito Bay. And also, once I get to Burito Bay, guys, the vehicles, both of them, are still about a mile behind me. So that's just how much speed this thing has in comparison. So when you're doing like bail missions, because this is primarily what this is used for, is just capturing bail targets. When you're doing bail missions, even when you got to make a big drive, it's actually not that bad because this vehicle will actually get there pretty quick. And as you can see here, they're close to a mile behind me still. Okay, so what I was talking about earlier when I said that this van can get hooked onto stuff, this is what I meant. Those kind of little steps that you have on the sides, on the left and right side of the van, this can actually get hooked onto vehicles, poles, other stuff that's on the street, and it can cause you to spin out, as you guys see right here. And this can actually get really frustrating. This is when we were driving towards the highway through the side streets. Now look, if you are really careful if you're driving, then you're not really going to hook onto anything. But if you're getting chased by enemies, you're getting chased by the police, you're trying to get out of an area, there's a chance you actually can get hooked onto something, and you actually could get spinned out, like in these situations here. Now, the really frustrating thing about this is that you actually cannot take these steps off. You can't. Now, these steps, what I will say about them is that the whole purpose of them is so that people can actually hang on the side, because the van in total can actually have around 6 people. So you can have 2 people in the front, 2 people in the back, and then 2 people hanging on the side. Now, about the people that are hanging on the side, they can use submachine guns, they can use assault rifles, they can even use machine guns. And you probably would think this is really effective during missions. This is going to help out a lot, right, with enemies chasing you. If you are just doing the bail bondsman missions and you have people chasing you like just NPCs, and you shoot those NPCs, sure, it's not that big of a deal, just gangsters chasing you. But if you have things like cops, which are basically infinitely spawning, and they're constantly ramming into you, you're actually going to get knocked off. So you're going to get thrown off. This has happened several times we're playing. And also, you'll get thrown off by really light things. So just really small little things, you can actually get knocked off from and die from too. So I honestly wish there was an option to take this little little ramp thing off, just so that you wouldn't get hooked on. Because face it, most players are not going to use this. I understand why Rockstar did it. I know they want people to hang on the side, but I guarantee you, barely anybody's going to do this. I can't imagine a lot of players using this hanging onto the side because not even a lot of not even two people drive around these vans a lot of times. So I can't imagine three people. And if you have two people, the second person actually cannot get on the side. It actually needs to be the third person. The second person always gets in the passenger seat. Now let's talk about damage when it comes to this vehicle. And I'm sorry to say, this vehicle does not have bulletproof windows. This is extremely disappointing. You'd think an armored bail enforcement van would have bulletproof windows, considering you're transporting a dangerous criminal, and you don't want them getting sprung out. You'd think a vehicle like this would have bulletproof windows, but unfortunately it doesn't. However, I will say another thing about this is this vehicle has weird armor to it. It doesn't have bulletproof windows, but it can also take 3 RPGs. So it can take a few explosives. So if you're driving away, if you're trying to get away from somebody, yeah, this vehicle can take a few hits before it goes up. But then there's the other thing. This vehicle has these back plates in the doors where the windows are supposed to be. And, somebody can get in here, they can open up the door and shut the back, but people and the driver can actually not be shut out the back. This is very helpful, especially when you're trying to get away from NPCs. But even though you can't be shot out of the back, what happens is if the van just gets shut up enough, it will get destroyed. Like, it will just completely fail. It will get destroyed. Before the van even starts getting on fire, it'll just say that the van is destroyed, and it'll kick you out. You cannot stay in the van. You'll get kicked out. And this actually happened to us also when we were in the middle of a police chase. We actually recently spawned the van. We were doing a hostile takeover. The van got shut up a bunch by the cops, didn't get hit by any kind of explosives. And then all of a sudden, we just basically got kicked out of it. It's basically said the van's destroyed. That's it. There was nothing really more we could have done. It's gone. So it can take 3 RPGs. It doesn't have bulletproof windows, but then it gets destroyed by bullet damage, even though it has armor plating on. It's kind of weird. And additionally, I'll say another weird thing about this van is the van has tires that can pop. So you see my friend Ken here driving this van, and you see the tires actually got popped by the cops. And he told me about this, and I had actually tested it earlier, and I thought the thing had bulletproof tires, but he told me no, that it got popped, as you can see from the footage. But then when I tried to recreate this, and I tried to actually pop the tires, I shot up the tires a bunch of times, I was not able to pop the tires. No matter what gun I used, I wasn't able to pop it. So I don't know how the cops managed to pop it, but the crazy thing is, me shooting the tires a bunch of times actually caused the vehicle to get destroyed. So that was it. It got destroyed because of that. Additionally, I wanted to say about the cage that's on the front of the car, like right where the hood is. It really does nothing to push vehicles out of the way. I was hoping that this vehicle would at least have a little bit more power in ramming vehicles, but it's just absolutely terrible at ramming vehicles. Maybe if it's a really small car, you could push out of the way, but if it's a medium-sized car, even if this van is a little bit bigger than it, it still will barely do anything. In fact, the van almost comes full force stop right when you hit anything going full speed. Though I will say about this van is, going back to the back doors, there's one little thing I forgot to mention, which is that you can actually shoot out the back. So you can take advantage of this vehicle, and you can shoot out the back, and enemies can't shoot you. But again, remember, you gotta worry about that damage. If you get the van gets shut up enough, it's gonna probably take like hundreds of bullets. But eventually, if it gets shut up enough, it's gonna just kick you out of the van. It's gonna say it's destroyed before the engine is even on fire. Though I do have some other good news about this vehicle. This vehicle can also be spawned when you have a personal vehicle. So it just spawns right from the interaction menu. You can have your personal car, your personal helicopter, plane out, and you can still spawn this vehicle, which makes it great because it is a decently fast van. There are a lot more vehicles that are way faster than it, but if you compare this especially to the industrial vehicle category, this vehicle is a lot more faster than a lot of the other industrial vehicles in the game. Like I said, it's faster than a Terabyte, faster than the Acid Lab. So speed will actually help you out, especially if your personal vehicle gets destroyed. You can spawn this thing anytime, and there actually is no cooldown on it. So you can spawn this thing as much as you want. You can spawn it, it will get blown up, and then you can spawn it again. You can just keep despawning it and spawning it. There is no cooldown, so you can spawn it as many times as you want. That's a great thing about it. So if you ever get trapped somewhere in the wild or something like that, you get near a road, and you're not able to spawn your personal vehicle because of a cooldown, you can always spawn this, drive away really quick. And here at the end, we come to our pros and our cons. So let's start with the pros. It's very fast for a van. Look, I know it's not the fastest vehicle in the game, obviously, but compared to a lot of other industrial vehicles, I'm generally impressed with its speed. Its back stops bullets, so the back you cannot get shot at the back. But again, remember, if you get shot with eventually hundreds of bullets, it will disable the van. There is no cooldown to spawn this van. You can despawn this and spawn this as much as you want. You can spawn this with a personal vehicle, so you can have both spawn at the same time. You can carry 6 people, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and 2 in the sides, but most people are not going to drive around 6 people. It's free with the business, so it doesn't cost you anything extra to buy the vehicle, just $125,000 for the armor. The cons are, bullets can disable it. It's shot up enough, bullets can disable it. Had that happen on the test. I've had it happen when I was trying to pop the tire, and had it happen when a cop shot the vehicle up enough. Its steps, those little side things people hang on, it can get hooked onto objects. So if you're not careful, you can easily get hooked onto walls, you can get hooked onto poles, other cars, and it can make you spin out. No bulletproof windows, which I'm kind of surprised. For the armor plating this vehicle has, you would think that it has bulletproof windows. It has barely any customization. There really is no customization besides the color and the armor plating. And the armor plating you're just going to get, because why wouldn't you get that? And it's terrible at ramming. This vehicle is absolutely terrible. I think it shouldn't throw things like the Phantom Wedge, but should at least push vehicles out of the way. And its tires can be popped. Now, even though that's rare, it has happened, so I had to put that in there as a con. So ultimately, that's it with this vehicle. I will say is this vehicle is probably going to be most helpful when you cannot spawn your personal vehicle and you want to get a quick car to get out of there. This is going to be the vehicle for that. There's no cooldown, so you can spawn as much as you want. If you are going to be planning on doing this update, you absolutely need this vehicle. It's going to be included with the business. So it's a vehicle that people are probably going to be using for years to come, or I should probably say a year and a half, at least until GTA 6 comes out. So I'm using this vehicle for the new bail enforcement business. But that's pretty much it. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this review. If you like my video reviews, I'm sorry these reviews take so long, and I'm sorry that they're kind of long. I always just want to break everything down, and I want to even catch the smallest details. Even the smallest details, I always want to record that and talk about them. Even if they're small, good or bad details, I always want to cover that. So that's why I talk a lot in these reviews. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of the van down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.